Liverpool versus Newcastle. The Alexander Isak derby. This is a game that has been one of the blockbuster fixtures of the Premier League in the past couple seasons. Last season, Rio Ingamoa with one of the best last minute winners I've seen ever. Like, just genuinely, like the whole goal, the interplay for that goal, sensational. Newcastle beat us in the Carabao Cup final. Dan Burn, and of course, none other than our very own Alexander Isak scoring in that game. But now it's a completely different landscape, completely different dynamic. Newcastle, Liverpool both have new managers, and I'm expecting the game to be a fiery game. I'm expecting St. James's Park to be loud. First game of the season, but I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to it. In the video, I'm going to get into the nitty gritty of the game. I'm going to get into my thoughts, everything I'm feeling and I'm expecting in the game, preview of the game. I'm going to do a lot more of these for Liverpool games this season. So make sure you, of course, stay tuned, stay locked in, subscribe. I'm going to do a lot more of these. First game of the season. And honestly, I think this game is going to be fun. That's what I think. I genuinely think this game is going to be fun. I think both teams, from what I've heard about Matthias Jaisler, I've heard that he is a manager that likes to press aggressively, that likes to play on the front foot. So I'm expecting Newcastle to play in that fashion. I'm expecting Lewis Hall. I'm expecting Barnes, Visser, Torre, the winger that they've signed from Hoffenheim. I'm expecting them to play a key role for Newcastle in this game. That's something we have to deal with. Of course, we like to press aggressively. We like to get in the face of the opposition, and I think that will be well suited to this game. But in transition moments, the pace that Newcastle have are out wide, especially, that's something we have to keep an eye on. We have to keep an eye on that. We have to keep an eye on that. But I think this game will also be decided by individual moments of brilliance. I think this game, there's not much between the two teams. Even though Liverpool have a better team and Liverpool have enough to beat Newcastle, St. James's Park, it's a cauldron. It's one of the most difficult stadiums to play at, not only in the Premier League, but in all of Europe. St. James's Park, genuinely one of the most difficult stadiums to play at, especially when the atmosphere is rocking like it's going to be tonight. But I think the individual moments of brilliance will decide this game. I think from a Liverpool perspective, the wide players, Rio, Gakpo, I think they need to have a big game today if we're going to win the game. Similar to what I said about Newcastle, the fullbacks, Kirkes, Frimpong, whoever starts, they also need to be on point, especially when it comes to dealing with Newcastle in 1v1 situations out wide, because obviously from what I've heard and seen about Torre, Newcastle's winger, he's a very good 1v1 player, very, very good at beating his man. He's got the pace. So that's something that Liverpool need to be certain of, need to be aware of if we want to nullify Newcastle. I think Isak needs to get involved in the game. I think in preseason he's looked very sharp. He's been involved. He's getting a lot more touches. He's dropping deep. He's making runs. He's linking play. The connection between him and Florian Wirtz, I think that is really, really coming to fruition nicely. I think in order to win this game and in order to do what we actually want to do this season, of course, we need those two to be firing on all cylinders. We need those two to stay fit, but most importantly, stay consistent. And I think the more chances we create in this game, I think the higher we have a chance of winning the game, because Newcastle are not going to make it easy. They're not going to make it easy. They're not going to give us an inch, especially when building up. When building up in settled possession, they're going to be compact, but we just have to create chances. We have to create chances. We have to play vertically, play like how we've been playing in preseason in the first half, and hopefully carry that throughout the whole 90 minutes. This game, obviously, it's the first game of the season, so it's not a game that's gonna make or break the season, but it will give us a good indication on how Andoni and the players are gonna go this season. It is because if we don't play well today, even if we lose, but if we don't play well, it's not going to be a good outlook for the season. But if we can have a good performance, resolute performance, win, loss, draw, I think it'll give us more optimism going into the season. I think players off the bench as well will also have a big role for both teams. For Liverpool, I think Munoz off the bench, I think he can have a big role, especially if Rio slash Gakpo are not really in the game. Chiesa as well. If he gets used, I think he will have an impact off the bench. But I think Liverpool have enough to win this game. I think Liverpool have enough to win this game. I think it's not going to be an easy game. It's not going to be an easy game. It's going to be a very difficult game, but I think it's going to be a game where individual moments decide it. I think this game is going to be a tight game. I'm not expecting a high scoring game, but I'm expecting a lot of teams to have chances in transition, especially. I think the only concern for me is in transition moments because Newcastle have players with pace out wide. So for me, I feel like if we can nullify Newcastle in transition by obviously controlling the game on and off the ball, the press being there, I think we will win this game. I just personally feel that how we go about controlling the game on and off the ball will also determine how Newcastle play as well. Because at St. James's Park, Newcastle, they're going to want to impose themselves. They're going to want to press. They're going to want to play ball. They're going to want to impose themselves. But I think if we can sort out certain things that I saw in preseason, which I'll touch upon later in the video towards the end, things that we need to fix, I think it will be very important that we have a good structure on and off the ball. Like in preseason, a lot of the time we were getting ran through in transition, especially in the second half of games. The game against Como, even though we won, there were still moments where the players were driving through the center of the pitch. The game against Monaco, players were driving through the center of the pitch. The game against Leeds, I believe it was, players were driving through the center of the pitch. Midfield players for the opposition were carrying the ball into space. And I think we need to stop that from happening because, like I've said, Newcastle, they've got pace out wide. They've got midfield players that can carry the ball. So if we are not solid in our defensive shape when pressing, but also when in a settled defensive shape, and even in the rest defense when we're attacking, we are going to be susceptible to getting countered. We're going to be susceptible to being countered because, like I said, Newcastle have a lot of pace, a lot of pace in their attack, a lot of pace. Asula, Barnes, Torre, like so many players. Alanga, they've got a lot of pace in the attack, and I think for me, we need to not be conservative, not be scared in terms of being passive off the ball. Of course, we need to press, but like I said, with the rest defense, we need to be compact in that rest defense shape when we're attacking. Because of course we know the likes of Szoboszlai, Gravenberch, they're gonna want to push forward, but one of them needs to be disciplined. One of them needs to be disciplined. When one pushes forward, the other stays back. Or when Kerkez, Frimpong, Wirtz are in the final third, they need to be the ones protecting the back line alongside Van Dijk, Araujo, Jacquet, whoever plays at centre back. And my point about things that we need to sort out in this game, if we want to win this game, is exactly that. It's exactly the rest defense structure. When we have the ball, we need to sort that out, because in preseason we struggled with that. Another thing that we need to sort out as well, if we want to win this game, is set pieces. Newcastle have a lot of threatening players from set pieces. In the Carabao Cup final, Dan Burn, guess how he scored? 6'8" Dan Burn. You guessed it. He scored from a corner. He scored from a corner. McAllister was marking him in that game. I don't even know why McAllister was marking him in that game. Like, honestly, like that. And set pieces is something that we struggle with in preseason. The game against Leeds, we conceded from set pieces. I believe in the game against Monaco as well, we conceded from set pieces. So, set pieces, and we've seen in the Premier League, set pieces are so important. Last season, that's a big part of how Arsenal won the league. Against Hull City, Man United, two of their goals came from set pieces. And obviously Newcastle, Malik Thiaw, Dan Burn, Portman, whoever they have, we need to be solid defensively from set pieces, because if we are not solid from set pieces, we are not going to do well in this game, especially with the atmosphere at St. James's Park. If we are not composed and focused from set pieces, and if defensively in possession when we have the ball and when Newcastle have the ball, if we're not compact, we are going to struggle in this game. But I think Liverpool will win the game just about. I think we'll win the game 2-1. I think Newcastle will score first. Probably St. James's Park gets going. Isak will get booed a lot. But I actually think Isak will score. He won't celebrate. He won't do this. But I think he will score. And I think we could get a last minute winner. I don't know from who, but I just feel like this game it's going to give us a last minute winner for sure. It's going to give us a last minute winner. I can just feel it. Like there's something telling me that it's going to be like last season. There's going to be a last minute winner. I think it's going to be a tight game. Like I said, it's going to be a chess match, but it's also going to be a basketball match in certain moments. There's going to be talking points. Alexander Isak will be the biggest talking point before the game. Hopefully, at the end of the game, he is the reason why Liverpool have won the game alongside his teammates. Let me know your thoughts. Let me know, what do you think will happen in the game. Let me know if we're going to win the game. Make sure you like, subscribe. I really appreciate the support on the channel. I really appreciate it, guys. I'm trying to just push with the content. I'm trying to get to 500 subscribers. I really appreciate the support, guys, on TikTok, on the channel as well. Really appreciate it, guys. But yeah, that is my match preview of the game. I think it's going to be a good game. But yeah, make sure you guys like, subscribe, share, do all of that. Watch the video, even if maybe you don't want to subscribe. I still appreciate it. Like I said, I appreciate all the support, guys. So yeah, subscribe, take care, I'm out.